I'd like to call a general committee meeting to order. Will everyone please rise for the prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many ways that you continue to bless our school district. We are grateful for our employees who display their dedication to our students every day, and we ask a special blessing upon each of them. Be with our students and their parents as they strive to help us in our goal of making this school year one that is focused on teaching and learning, and help us in our efforts to turn our young men and women into productive citizens for our community. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Mr. Gaines, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Foche, roll call, please.
Mrs. Acevedo? Here. Mr. Campbell? Here. Dr. Kraft is ill, and we ask for continued prayers for his recovery. Mr. Egan? Here. Mr. Gaines? Here. Mrs. Dysart? Here. Mr. England?
Here.
Mrs. Lemoyne?
Here.
Mr. Long? Here. Mr. Smith is not with us, and Mr. Warner?
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Foche. Okay, let's see. Item number 4, Super News. Ms. Alex Snyder, good evening.
We are going to get started with our September communications report. It's number 4 in your folders. On the front page, you'll see some of the press that we got over the last month, from the beginning of school through the breakfast. There was a lot of good news to share, and we're excited that the community was able to hear about that. On the second page, you'll see just a snapshot of some of our social media campaigns over the last few weeks and their engagement policies, as well as the website. So you'll notice on the website engagement, since May, you'll see total visits are right under 400,000. And basically what this shows is typically over the summer we see a decline in our website visits as families get to spend time with their students at home, and then you'll see an uptick. It does drop off because the way that the statistics work is you'll notice the last date is September 20th. Today is not the 20th, so it looks like it's declined, but we'll see that continued uptick through the next couple of months. Following that, this year, we've worked with principals and our website communication team. So as you all know, we have individuals targeted at each of our schools helping us manage the websites and our social media campaigns. And we've been talking about ways to feature each of the individual schools. This year, what we'll be doing is featuring each school for each of the months. So each of the schools is going to get a 2 to 3 minute feature. The principal and the website coordinator, alongside myself and Barry Lemoyne, will have an opportunity to feature what they feel like their school is really excelling in, and that will be a 2 to 3 minute feature on site. So it'll be a little bit different. It will give the schools a little more autonomy and also a little bit of a spotlight. Plan on using those features both on the Super News as well as on Facebook to give just a little bit more of a spotlight to those schools. We are asking that board members correspond with each of those schools, and we are working on doing that on site, as I mentioned. So, our first one is Davies and Smith, and we'll have those board members visiting those schools. If that's not feasible, that's fine. We can film you here, and that will be just as good. But if we can do on site, that will also be great. If for any reason you would rather be on a different month or you'd like to switch, just let me know. And you'll notice that in December and in February, we do our highlighting of the Student of the Year and the Teacher of the Year specials for Super News. So that corresponds when those of the years happen. Because we are filming these on location, the exact date I'll get with you individually to film, and then you have both the cell phone contacts for Barry and Jack when you arrive on location to do those filmings. Upcoming events, next Friday is one of my personal favorites as both a teacher and now at central office events at Chalmette High, which is the conclusion of Owl Week, is the pep rally. This year, Mr. Warner is inviting community members, including members of the board, to help judge that event. If you haven't seen the Owl Week pep rally, it is a very beautiful event of students coming together in a lot of spirit. The judging happens both Thursday evening at 5:30 is the judging of the spirit walls, And so lining the walls of Chalmette High School, each of the classes has an opportunity to decorate those walls. And so we asked judges to first judge that portion, and then the second is actually judging the pep rally and the spirit of each of the classes. And so that will take place roughly at around 1 o'clock. I'll be meeting those who are able to judge in the in the front office of Chalmette High School, and we'll wait till Mr. Warner is ready to bring you guys forward. Roughly takes about an hour, so you guys should be out between 2:15. Okay. And the second thing on the agenda, or upcoming events, is going to be the CHS Alumni Social and the Holy Cross game. This is Friday, September 14th at the Bobby Nuss football field. Okay. And without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Barry and Jack in the back.
And now from the desk of the superintendent's office, it's time for Super News.
Hello, I'm Barry Lemoyne.
And I'm Alex Schneider, and welcome to this edition of Super News.
We'll kick things off with a look at all the good things that were a recent part of the Day of Reflection breakfast. Nearly 500 guests and over 100 students took part in this celebration, showcasing the people and the programs at our schools. With a theme of strength, the program focused on the district's strong academic, athletic, and art programs. This 13th annual Day of Reflection truly was a positive and community-centered event.
Part of being strong is making sure our teachers feel supported and have what they need to succeed in their classrooms. And whether it's bringing state-of-the-art technology into all of our schools or working behind the scenes in supporting roles, our aim is the same, making sure that we are working as a team for the good of our students and the community. For after all, strong schools make for a strong community.
Our work is never over.
The strength of our arts program was also brought to life by the Legacy Quartet Band, a group comprised of music educators, as well as by the CHS Voices' strong performances. Our guest speaker for the day is also a true advocate for the arts, former music teacher and Louisiana's current First Lady, Mrs. Donna Edwards.
As we all know, schools wouldn't be schools without teachers, which is why I'm so very proud to say another one of the governor's initiatives for the coming year, which should really bring a louder round of applause, will be teacher pay raise. Absolutely. As a profession that teaches all other professions, our teachers deserve and have earned a pay raise, plus so much more. We all know that teachers don't teach for the money. It's a ministry, it's a calling, but gosh, they deserve a pay raise, and it is much needed.
Joining Mrs. Edwards on stage throughout the morning proceedings was a number of former Chalmette High School students who shared their stories and positive experiences during their time at Chalmette High School.
Every single teacher, administrator, secretary, and aide working in this school system has affected me in a positive way. And I can't say that there were a couple of teachers who stood out, because I had and still have great relationships with so many of them to this day, whether it's being able to go socialize and go out to eat with them or receiving big hugs in the hallway every time I come back and see them again. I'm proud to be able to say that my teachers have become my friends.
My name is Gabrielle Glapion, a product of the St. Bernard Parish school system and a person who was afforded numerous opportunities in and outside of the classroom. I graduated CHS in 2015 with over a 4.0 grade average, and I was involved, and in many cases led, several clubs and athletic teams here. As the lieutenant of the CHS cheerleading team, I was able to accomplish so much. Whether it was a community outreach event, a national competition in Disney World, or marching in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, I got to meet people from all over our country, which helped me to mature into a young woman. The success I enjoy now in college and in my personal life are a credit to the amazing education and relationships I built here in St. Bernard.
Kudos to all of the behind-the-scenes people who made this event such a success. And thanks to all of our guests who joined us and to the alumni who returned to share their time and talent with us. And speaking of alumni, the Chalmette High School Alumni Association's first event of the year will take place this Friday following the Chalmette High School Holy Cross football game. So whether you are a graduate of CHS, AJ, St. Bernard, S-Bus, or an ABC, an alumni by choice, We invite you to come return to the nest as part of our alumni social.
Other high-flying owls doing good things are the members of our Air Force JROTC unit. Recently, and for the 5th year in a row, this group was recognized as a distinguished unit and awarded for its outstanding service to the school and community. This competitive award is testament to the education and service instilled into our young cadets and the commitments of its teachers. Congratulations.
And now we'll go from our high school cadets to our tiniest of students as the youngest members of our school family began their educational journey to school. Here we see some of the smiling faces that are a part of our preschool program. Good luck and welcome.
We would also like to welcome you all to join all of the learning taking place each month at the Moment Center and Planetarium. Public shows are a regular part of our offerings, giving families the opportunity to experience the wonders of space together. Show dates are listed here and are available online at our district website or on our Facebook page.
Well, that will just about do it for this edition of Super News. But before we go, we'd like to invite you to take a look at our recent quality report that was distributed throughout the community. This 36-page publication documents some of the district's successes, highlighting some important numbers, accomplishments, and even outcomes.
Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time on Super News,
where we always let
the Super News roll. We'll see you next time.
Alex, I tell you what, that breakfast, I just want to thank the students, the ambassadors, the students. They served that breakfast. I think they had over 500 people there. I think Mr. Fauci told me it took like less than 10 minutes. And everybody,
9 minutes, 28 seconds. No, they timed it.
but but it was such a beautiful event. I got so many compliments, you know, from different people. Even in my neighborhood, people came by my house and just knocked on my door. I had one neighbor come knocked on my door and say, "Look, I just come over just to tell you what a perfect time we had that morning." And but as far as, you know, it took a whole lot of people to put this together. You know, if I named just one person or just 2 or 3 people, it wouldn't be right. It's a whole group. It's the whole village got together and made this thing happen. And thanks to the administration and everybody who involved in it, thank them. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Schneider. I just had a question on the pep rally. The pep rally is at 1 o'clock on Friday, but what's at Thursday at 5:30? That's the judging?
So, and I'm realizing as you're saying that, so our week pep rally, actually, it's not this Friday, it's next Friday.
It's
so
next Friday.
It's the 21st.
It's next Friday.
Okay, the
21st.
So the alumni social is the 14th, the pep rally is the 21st, it's a week
Okay.
from Friday.
Okay,
The
but-
Thursday night is the judging of the wall.
Okay.
And so the wall finishes at 5 o'clock, students are asked to leave, and then at 5:30 the judges go through and go ahead and judge the wall, and a winner will be announced to Mr. Warner that evening of the wall itself, and then you'll arrive the next day at 1 o'clock to actually judge the pep rally.
Thank you for that clarification. And if, next week, yes. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this year is maybe the 50th anniversary of the Holy Cross Chalmette rivalry. I think.
I'm not sure.
I do not know either.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think so. But anyway, go Owls! And it's a great social after seeing
Yeah,
all
it
the
is. It is.
fellow alumni and friends. So it's really the ladies in the cafeteria do a wonderful job, and Sherman High School. Of course, Mr. Warner, Ms. Munt, they do an awesome job.
I know,
And the
I know
Alumni
it's over
Association.
47 years because I've been to every one of them, and I remember 40. You know, I started 47 years ago, so this is so then it'd at least be 48 because.
I think it's the 50th.
So you're right. So I mean, it's at least that. I know that firsthand. You know.
Thank you.
That's it. That's all. Anybody else? Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Okay, move on to item number 5, is education. Ms. Lemoyne, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. England. Okay, agenda item number 5 is a report on the St. Bernard stormwater model, and we have Mrs. Acevedo here tonight. Welcome.
Hello. Just want to give you a little update about the St. Bernard stormwater model that we have at MOMUS. This was a model that was built through donations through Wagner and Ball and Parish government and a grant that they got to build this. The model, and I'm going to show you pictures of it as we go along. Get my
Okay.
sorry. All right, guys, what did I do? It's not advancing. It's not advancing.
Technology screaming works.
It's not advancing.
It won't move.
All right, guys in the back.
Ask him. Come help.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, Sheldon.
You got it?
There we go.
You got it? Okay.
Gotcha.
Is it on? No, it's not. There's no light on. Which one am I moving? I'm rolling. Can I bring mine for moments next time? There you go. Okay. So this is what the model looks like. It is a model of St. Bernard Parish, and it is focusing on the water and the ways that we are protected from the water. So it has all the levees. It has the pumping stations on it. It has the topography of the parish. It has the Mississippi River on it. It has the Great Wall of Louisiana on it. It has the surge barriers. Everything's on it. The purpose of this model is, number one, parish government and Wagner and Ball, they have a plan to deal with all this stormwater. So they are letting us use the model at MOMUS. For kids, this is a great way for us to teach them about topography, about the protection that we have here in the parish for it. The lesson plans are in my head like crazy right now on how to use this. We're going to take monopoly houses and trees and animals. They're not even going to know what this is when they walk in. And I'm going to say, build your communities. This has a projection system that projects down on it. Once they have everything set up, we're going to project, and it's going to show flooding situations. So then we're going to say, oh, look where you're at. Are you safe there? So they're going to have to then start to realize what all those levees are, what the surge barriers are. It goes along with our 8th grade and our 5th grade curriculum. It's right on target for them. It is durable. The kids can touch it. They can do things to it. They can't harm it in any way. So it's going to be used in conjunction. You know, we worked with that pilot program with the Flood Authority last year and came up with curriculum, and that curriculum will go along with this. So what's going to happen is that the parish is actually going to, oh, I did it again.
Ms. Espedo,
Yes.
is that the industrial canal on the right-hand side?
It stops in Araby. It doesn't go all the way up to the industrial. It's only St. Bernard.
Okay, it's only St. Bernard.
It's only St. Bernard. But the river is along the back area that you see back there, this area back here. This is the river. This would be the Great Wall back here. This is Violet. It has the highways on it where you can see. It has some of the industries. It has the pumping stations on it. You really need to look at it. It's hard to get a picture of it because of the way, but you really need to be there to see it. There are little boards that you see all the way around the room, and there are actually four boards around the room. This is another view of it, a better view of it that you can actually see. Yeah, the river. And there is a, they're working on right now like a legend that goes along with this so that you'll be able to tell. But I don't want kids to walk in there knowing what everything is. I want them to have to discover it on their own. And the projection, the things that they're going to be able to project on it, they're working on, they came to me and asked me what kind of things I would like to project on it. One of the things I'm really wanted is like the different soil layers that we have in St. Bernard Parish. That's one of the things. Then we're going to do different types of flooding. And the biggest thing that they're trying to get from me is what would happen if a storm surge came in again, to project storm surge at different levels and how far in the parish and how our protection system would actually work for us. So these are some of the things that the parish has come up with. There's the goals and principles poster there. Why does St. Bernard Parish need this? It talks about the urban quality. Why do we need this protection system? Why do we need kids to know about and people to know about this water model and the protection we have for subsidence, for our protection from flooding. They talk about proposed projects that are in the process or in the planning stages for the parish. So what's going to happen is that on October 6th, parish government is going to host a meeting. They have the Water Collaborative from New Orleans is going to come out and discuss the need for storm management. They're going to demonstrate the storm water model. They're going to actually be in the room. They're going to project the images down onto the model so that people who are there can get an idea of the purpose of it. They'll talk about green infrastructures in the parish and how that's going to be a good stormwater control for us. And Momus is a great example of that because we have the bioswales. So we use our own water to, and we have a lot of water right there now, to water all those plants. Those are native Louisiana plants that need all the water. We have subsurface drainage, and we have the multiple bioswales. So it's a great example of green infrastructure at work in the parish right now. And then they're going to just do some question and answering about the water model and storm water management. So it's going to be, they're expecting about 20 to 40 people. It's going to be open to the public. They're expecting more people who are like parish government people to be in attendance. So I just want to give you a little update about that.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Acevedo, for your presentation. So you said that the meeting is on
October the 3rd. I'm sorry, it's a Wednesday night from 6 to 8.
Okay.
And it's going to be just 2 hours. Most of it's going to be with them actually showing the water model. We'll do a little bit in the cafeteria with a little presentation about the water model, how it came about, how it fits into the government's, the parish's overall plan.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the presentation. Like you said, this is a wonderful way to address science, social studies curriculum with the students. I know you mentioned that you're targeting the 5th and 8th grade students because it would align with their objectives. Is this something that, will different groups of students be able to see this when they come to the MoMA Center for the planetarium visit? How soon do you think that?
So as soon as they teach me how to use the layers, the projection layers, then I'll start writing the curriculum. Because the way I do it is I send out to the teachers every program I have written. And it's done by grade levels, and then they choose what they want to come and see. Because I work both on elementary and middle school curriculum, so I know what they're studying. So like this week and next week, all 7th grade students are coming to MoMAS this week. 6th grade are coming next week because it fits in with their curriculum. So it'll be the same thing wherever it fits in their curriculum. And what's good about this is that we don't get into this until like January, February with 8th grade. So all the kinks will be worked out of it.
Great. It's great to hear. I'm excited to come and visit and see.
There will be lesson plans. I mean, it will be full lesson plans. They will be using it hands-on.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Acevedo?
Just a little background. This is a project that has been years in the making. I don't know if y'all remember when the big study was done and Wagner and Ball was involved in that study for the parish. And from that, when they helped design, when they actually designed the MoMA Center, because they were the architects on that particular project, the outside part, as Ms. Acevedo has described, has the bioswales. The drainage was a different type of drainage. We had to go through all kinds of issues permitting with the parish to get that type of a drainage system approved so that it would work into this particular concept. This model originated, the first plan or two, and parish government wrote for the grant to fund a lot of this. So Wagner and Ball, in conjunction with the parish government, and they spoke with us, wrote for this particular grant, which the parish received quite a long time ago. But initial attempts to develop the model, from the school system's point of view, if we were going to put it in a MoMA Center, we wanted something that would be more receptive to a moving curriculum, something that was not just a one-time thing that kids could go into, see something, and then that would be it. So this has evolved over the course of several years. Gina has worked with them on it too, and then Bob Turner and his group have come in from the Southeast Louisiana Authority, worked in conjunction with some of the other part of the curriculum. So it's been this big joint effort, and I have to just applaud parish government and in conjunction with Wagner and Ball in beginning this process. But Ms. Aceveda involved in it to make sure that we could use it as a living and moving curriculum piece so that kids would get maximum usage out of it and see different events on the model and not a one-time effect. So hopefully
Yeah, it
they
won't be a
went back to
one-time
the
visit.
drawing board, redesigned, and worked on it, and now Gina will be ready to write some curriculum that goes with it that the kids will really benefit from for many years to come.
And just, you know, this is the only one like this. There is one in Baton Rouge, but it's the whole Mississippi River, and it's gigantic. It's a huge room. So this is like, this is our comparison to that. So we're very, very fortunate to have this. And it's not going to be a one-time field trip. Like, they just won't come and use it. We can do so many different things with the model.
Any other questions for Ms. Aceveda? Yes, Mr. Egan.
I don't have any questions, but you're talking about, that's the Corps of Engineers. My undergraduate degree is in geology. And believe me, if we'd had this, because we went with all of the bodies of water, primarily the Mississippi River, the formation, how we have it, how it has, and that's the thing. And there was nothing like this at LSU, and I gotta say it. This is fantastic. And the only one that is similar is the Corps of Engineers, and of course they have the entire, from, you know, from the, when it hits Louisiana and then goes to the mouth of the river. This is I can't wait to see it.
It's
I
amazing.
really can't. This is,
It's amazing.
it's hard to believe from when just looking at it now. And fantastic job you're doing, man.
And well, just to tell you, it's amazing. When we started with the Flood Authority pilot, just what the kids didn't know, what they learned, and what they were able to bring home to parents has stirred an interest now in what we have going on now with this water model.
That's all. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is on permanent display at the MoMA Center, so it's a permanent fixture of that facility?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
That's
And
fantastic.
that Wagner Ball report came out maybe in '08.
So long
This is
time
10
back.
years into the making. And when do we take delivery on this?
Well, let's say we've been in the process of it being built and revised since August. They've been working in the building on it, and
Oh,
just
okay.
now to the point. Yeah, it's taken. It was very tedious to put it together because they worked on it many, many days, just getting the model put together and then getting the projector to actually project exactly where it needs to project. So,
10 years later.
well, and let me tell you,
You had to write for the grant, wait for the
Right.
grant to come in, start models that maybe not everyone was happy with, going back, redesigning.
and
So
they
it's
came
been
in
a long time.
Yeah, and they came in and made several visits to make sure that it was progressing like it needed to be and it looked like it was supposed to be. There is a manual that comes along with it. It's their report, and it's like a textbook thick. And we have copies of it at MoMA, so when we use it, I mean, it's in there. It's textbook thick on just the plan for this parish revolving around this model.
Well, great. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited about it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Aceveda, for
You're very
your,
welcome.
not only your leadership over this project, but everything that's going on at the MoMA Center. Each year, it seems like we've got something new that expands within the MoMA Center, so I'm really excited for all these great opportunities, so
Well,
thank you.
I thank y'all for your support. You've been wonderful to
And we
work
do
with.
really want to applaud parish government, because
Oh,
they've
yes.
stuck with this
Yes.
thing for a very long time, with a moving force behind it, and kept bringing it back and talking with us about it, and to the point where it finally is now, so they deserve a great deal of credit.
And they are,
for
and they're gonna
what's
be
happened.
backing me with the curriculum, because they, Jason Stopa is already, we've been talking, and we're gonna start with the curriculum. They come to me and ask me what we need. What do we need for the students to make it work? So very, very, a great
Very
relationship working
supportive
with
and
them.
very
Yes.
cooperative, very, great cooperative
Right,
effort.
very,
You know, they've
very,
been very good with it.
I'm proud of my parish.
Well, we thank them for their continued support.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, agenda item number 6 is enrollments.
Just a quick enrollment update, and what we gave you were numbers that we have and comparisons, I think, with last year's numbers. Now, you have to understand, these are not final numbers for this year. They're moving targets. We have kids who are registering, withdrawing, moving, transferring But as of a snapshot in time, this year, as of September 6th, these numbers were taken. These were students who had actually shown up for school, not students who were necessarily registered, but students who actually were physically present. You can see that similar to last year, it's about the same numbers. The difference, we have a few more high school students than we had last year, but we had a very large 8th grade class this past year. So when you look at the demographics of how kids are moving through, we're in a glut right now with that particular age group, that late middle and high school age group, and some classes coming behind it are smaller in nature. You can see the difference in the pre-K numbers from last year, and the elementary numbers, the K to 5 numbers, are lower. So we're having higher numbers at late middle and high school, a little bit lower at the elementary, so as they go through, you can see that particular progression. So we've got similar numbers last year, about 30 some odd fewer students at this point. But as of when October 1 rolls around, we'll have the official accurate count for the State Department. So it's just a little updated enrollment. We presently have 7,707 students. So, yeah, we're getting very close to Katrina numbers, you know.
We're sort of plateauing, though. It seems like we're just riding.
Yes, right now. So I don't think, we haven't seen any increases or significant increases. That growth is steady at this point, so we have consistent numbers. So we feel very confident in the planning that we have done for school buildings and such. And unless we have tremendous growth within the parish at different parts, I think we're in really, really good shape.
Okay, questions for Ms. Voce? Mr. Long?
Yes, Ms. Voce, the numbers at Chalmette High, 1968.
Right.
I understand that that seems like a rather high number. It may concern some people, but I think you, because of block scheduling, you still have a lot of empty classrooms. Is that correct?
You see, it is a large number, but it's a very large facility. Those of us who've been around a long time, from the 70s, now I'm going back to the 1970s, when I was at Chalmette High School as a teacher, just in the main building, we had close to 1,750 boys. AJ had a comparable number of girls. So just that main building held that many students. Right now, we're looking at both sides of the street with maybe 500 ninth grade students or 550 ninth grade students. So on the main campus, we've got less than 1,400. And at one, with a whole additional wing of classes than we had back in those days. So we've got 3 gymnasiums, 2 cafeterias, and because of block scheduling, we've got, students are taking 4 courses each semester because it's a college type arrangement. You take 90-minute classes. Teachers have planning one of those 4 classes. So on the average, 25% of the building, I hate to say this, but are empty classrooms. So if those teachers aren't planning, there are no students in those particular classrooms. So while it seems an awful lot, a very high number, the building has an enormous capacity to serve those children. Now, I've heard some people say, well, sometimes in the halls it seems a lot of kids. Well, okay, when the change of class comes and you have your 3 to 5 minutes between classes, it seems like an awful lot of young people walking the halls, and I've experienced that before. But when you walk in at any given time in the classrooms, I know Mr. Warner brought a group of people through a couple of weeks ago and was showing them the facility, and the question was, well, when are the kids going to arrive? And he said, what are you talking about? Well, they're in the classrooms right now. I'll be honest, we were in the Cultural Arts Center, and my group was leaving, and he was bringing that group in, and they had just come from that main area. So while it is a large number, the building and the facilities can accommodate these numbers and more. So, and having them split on both sides of the campus, and a lot of the kids on that main side, I don't know the exact numbers of how many of them are at Nunez for a part of the day, but Ms. Valalongo has, I know, 300 kids enrolled at Nunez, and those are coming mostly from the main campus to Nunez, because those are mostly your 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. The numbers are large, but so are the facilities are large as well.
And these facilities should be adequate for
Yeah.
quite a few more years.
When we're looking-
unless we have a major
Unless we have a
influx.
major influx in the
Right.
parish. Because when you look at it, grade level by grade level, how many 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th? So when you look at those to project, what you're seeing is, like we talked about before, a glut of students in this middle area, late middle school to high school, and smaller numbers really coming up in pre-K, K1 and 2. So I think things have leveled off. Unless we get a a large increase in population within the parish, and that'll be, at that point, we would have to look at something, I presume.
And our ratio of teacher to student is well within state
Absolutely. Everything is
regulations.
within state guidelines, less than state guidelines. A lot of the courses at the high school, if they're specialized, elective, upper level, have fewer than 20 students in a class. Now, your core area classes for 9th, 10th graders, those tend to be larger because those are the courses everybody takes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any other questions for Ms. Voce? Ms. Dysart?
Just add a comment, excuse me, and having just one high school also, there are so many more opportunities for our students. If we had a second high school, because I get that question too, why don't we have another high school? And that facility is large enough, but we can't duplicate every sport, every club, every, extracurricular, and curricula, at two different facilities. So, the opportunities for our students is endless, at Chalmette High School, because we can offer so many different curricula and extracurricular activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. Any other questions or comments from Ms. Voce? Thank you very much for that report. Okay, agenda item number 7 is the school wellness policy, and we have Mrs. Bloom with us.
Hello, good evening. Hi, I'm coming to talk about the school wellness policy, which is an annual policy that we put in place every year. Gina Acevedo is passing out snacks for you, not to bribe you, but these snacks these are smart snacks, which are mandated by our wellness policy and also by USDA, but you can see we serve these in our cafeterias, and we can also serve them in concession stands, we can serve them for parties. So these particular snacks come from manufacturer Frito-Lay, which are made for school nutrition programs and schools. But they comply with everything that we're supposed to be doing at school. So if you go in the school cafeteria at Chalmette High School, for instance, you might get a sandwich with Funyuns or Doritos, and that's all child nutrition approved. Everything's great. So you can try them out. The kids do love those munchies, I will say. Okay. They do. They love the munchies. Well, it's all kind of different little bits of things. All right. So our school wellness policy, in 2004, the WIC Reauthorization Act came into play, and it mandated a wellness policy in our school system. So since then, our wellness policies have evolved, and of course, with the the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act, it, of course, developed more, and every year it develops a little bit more. But basically what happens is the premise for the wellness policy is so that we have a total community outreach of healthy students, teachers, school environments. It's not just when you go to the cafeteria, you eat healthy food, but then out of the cafeteria, we don't have any nutrition programs and we don't have any healthy lifestyles that we want our children to have, because then they'll live longer lives, behave better in classrooms, they'll be able to get better grades. So those kind of things, that's what the wellness policy is about. It's not just a policy that we put in a drawer and then we don't think about anymore. Okay, and this is how we create a healthy school environment. The wellness policy touches on all of these points. I gave you the official wellness policy to look at. It's also on the website, which we'll talk about. But these are the points that are highlighted in the wellness policy. Nutrition education, physical activity, foods and drinks sold to students, nutrition promotion, foods and beverages not sold but provided, like little class parties and things. Then marketing of food and beverage and informing the community. All right, and this is how our wellness policy team comes together. Every year we're mandated, and we do have wellness policy team meetings. And all of these people are involved in these meetings at different times during the school year. Okay, these are some of the meetings that we'll be holding this year. I spoke to all the school administrators in July 2018. Then, of course, you tonight. The school nutrition department meetings are going to be in November. And then we have a school community meeting on January 22nd. That is a meeting that takes place the day of the in-service for the whole school community. And I ask the principals to give me names of parents, nurses, community leaders, teachers, and we send out invitations, and then we have a little meeting. Because what we're going to do this year is we're going to reevaluate the wellness policy and then put into practice some new things that we might like to see in. All right, and that's, of course, you can go to our website right there, and you can find that under helpful resources under food services. All right, now this is what I gave you. The federal and state requirements. Our wellness policy supports healthy school breakfast and lunches, and we follow all the USDA standards for student meals. In addition, this year in the last legislative session, Louisiana's legislative session passed Act 331, which mandates what foods can be sold in school during a school day. And these are part of what can be sold during the school. All right, so any student, and they're called smart snacks. So when you hear that, and I have a little handout for you about smart snacks in Louisiana. When you hear what a smart snack is, this is what it's about. So many calories, under 200 calories. It's got limited sodium. But if you taste them, and Miss Shelby can tell you because she tasted one earlier. I said, well, how was it? And she said, it was good. I said, well, that's right, because sometimes people have a negative idea about what healthy is, but these things are healthy. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to show our children how to choose the healthy choice. Let's choose the healthy thing, but it still can be something that you want to eat. All right, and then our school district policies. Our wellness policy encourages adequate time for school meals, use of healthy meal preparation techniques. That's in our cafeteria, so you notice we do not fry. We try to use things with butter buds instead of butter and margarine, and we try to use low sodium, which we have to, and we're mandated. We try to promote a positive school cafeteria environment, so a place kids want to go to. They like the ladies. They want to go to a place that's pleasant. And when they get into line and everybody's very nice to them and they see food that they can choose, then it's a good place to go. We try to encourage serving healthy food at school parties and during the school day, and elimination of food as a reward for student accomplishment. And a lot of the PBIS, they give little stickers at the schools. Like, for instance, I went to Araby one day, and they had they get these little bucks, and the kids can go to like a little store, and they have all kind of little trinkets and things like that that they can have. And that's really good. All right, importance of nutrition education. With our nutrition education, I am lucky to have dietetic interns from Tulane University School of Public Health every year. And they come and they give nutrition lessons to our school children. Right now, next week, they'll be going to Chalmette High in the nutrition classes, and they'll be doing things like taste tests. They give nutrition ed lessons. And we also do have a team nutrition grant this year. So W. Smith Elementary School was awarded a team nutrition grant. The teacher is going to purchase and develop a hydroponic garden in her class. And then in our cafeteria, we'll be supporting that by offering the foods that they produce in the class, like, say, for instance, lettuce or tomatoes. Well, we wouldn't be able to have enough for the whole school, but what we'll do in the cafeteria is we'll duplicate that through our produce vendor, and then all the kids can taste it and see how it works, give a little lessons. How do you do this? Where do you buy it? What does it taste like, you know? So those kind of things happen. And that's a 3-year grant that we were awarded. So that's very exciting and nice, too. All right, and then these are some resources for team nutrition if anyone is interested. They have all kind of supplies for teachers, free posters, handouts for parents, and that's also on our website if anybody's interested. Okay, just a little bit. Physical activity and physical education. These are the things that we try to make our wellness policy partner with the schools. So these are some suggestions. Of course, our sports, our sports programs, after-school activities, activity breaks in the classroom, and recess time. And then food marketing. Every day there are menu notifications throughout the schools. There are menu boards in every cafeteria. So when a student walks in, on or before he gets his tray, there's a board with what's on the menu today, and it reminds them what they need to take and what they can take. So those kind of things are available to the kids. The daily menus are also posted on the website. You can always go to the little knife and fork, click on one, pick the school you like, and then you can see what the menu is. So for your child at home, oh, what are we having for school? Oh, look, they're going to have pizza, or we're going to have nachos, or we're going to have red beans and rice, and they'll know what's happening at the school. And we also want to have positive images of healthy eating, so we ask our faculty and we ask our adults not to bring in our cafeterias maybe food that wouldn't be promoting this message. So if they want to bring in a brand name thing, we ask them to put it in another, container. And that's because we want our children to know that we all are in this together and we all are promoting healthy lifestyles together. Okay, and then public involvement, the wellness policies posted on the website. There are surveys. I also put the surveys in your wellness packet. I have surveys for parents, teachers, students, and so and the food service people. And so every year we review the wellness policy and we get the surveys back, and we evaluate them to see what's going on with that. And then, of course, if you need any questions, you can always ask me. And that's my email address. That's me, yes. That's what I would like to think I look like. That's me like 40 years ago. Okay, and this is just a little pop quiz. And here are the answers. We can change our wellness policy. And then how do you get more information? It's updated once a year. We do have a committee and students are involved. And then this is the way to contact me about the wellness policy. And that's it.
Thank
Very
you
good.
so much for that thorough presentation. It is so wonderful to hear about all the ways that our schools are promoting health and wellness, like you described, through educational opportunities and through the cafeteria. And I know each year you invite the board members to go and work in the cafeteria. And it's always such a wonderful experience to see the staff. They're so friendly, so professional. The kids are excited to see them. So I want to thank you and your team, all the cafeteria technicians, for all of your hard work. So thank you. Any questions or comments from Ms. Bloom?
I'll make a comment. I think you do a great job.
Oh,
I really
thank
do,
you.
Ms. Bloom,
I
with your
appreciate
nutritional
that.
program. And I'm really glad to see the bullet point, students have opportunities to be physically active before, during, and after school. I think that's a major part of
That's right.
your nutritional program and wellness. So
It is. It is. Because that's
Yeah.
very important for everybody's life.
yes, it is.
Mhm.
Thank you for the fine job you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it was Ms. Bloom and her staff that supplied all that hot food for our breakfast. And got everything served in 9 minutes and 28 seconds.
Because I do come.
Thank you so much
You're
for all of
welcome.
your
Well,
hard work.
without the kids serving,
Right.
I know that.
they were fabulous.
Right,
Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 8 is an executive item, and that's Mr. Long.
Thank you, Ms. Lemoyne. We have Mr. Granberry, welcome.
How you doing?
Reminder to the board members, this is for informational purposes only. I see we have one person on medical leave, Mr. Granberry.
Oh, we're gonna have a lot more of that.
Really?
We got a lot of pregnant ladies.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Okay. So, any questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Granberry. Did a great job. Okay. Item number 9, Mr. Egan.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Number 9 is renewal of general liability, auto, and legal liability insurance. Mr. Clement, and of course, Mr. Fernandez.
Well, thank you, Mr.
I
Egan.
saved the best to last.
Yes, I know. Okay,
Gotta get that raise.
of course, we have our friends from Clements Insurance Services, Mr. Richie Clements and Mr. Timothy Clements with us today. So, in your package, you have our recommendation for renewal of liability, general liability, auto liability, and educators' legal liability insurance. As you know, for the past several years, we participated in the Lawma Group, which is an insurance pool specifically for educational institutions in the state of Louisiana. We've had great success with it, and they have not gone up on their rates. The premium is going up slightly because some of it is based on student enrollment, some of the vehicle auto liability is based on number of vehicles. So it's going up not because the rates have gone up, but because we have additional students, we have additional vehicles. Mr. Clements also tested the market to see if there was any conventional insurance we could get quotes on, and he tried. Some people, the people he has declined to put in a quote, but we are satisfied with the Lawma Group. They provide a good service for us, and we've been successful in our claims with them. And also, if you look at the last page, we've discussed in the past about our equity in the Lawma Group. As a member of this insurance pool, we're kind of like an owner or part owner of the equity, and our equity has been going up for year to year, and currently our equity is at $288,382. Also, we'll be eligible for a Lawma grant this year of $32,000, which will mitigate the expense of the premium. So whereas the premium as quoted is $205,552, the net premium, if you take into account the grant we're getting, will be $173,509. So that is our recommendation for renewal. We'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. We have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Motion by Mr. Warner, second by Mrs. Acevedo. Anyone else have a question? Or if we have none, please vote your machines.
Motion passes 10-0.
Wait a minute, I want to say, Mr. Clements, I was kidding about saving the best to last, but he is the guy that, signs out checks and that, so.
I sure understand that.
Y'all do a great job, fantastic. All three of y'all, really. Thank y'all.
I have one quick question. Is this the first year we're getting the cyber library?
We had it last year. I think we had it last year as well.
Okay, it's not good.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next, we have Mrs. Dysart, for number 10.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. Next item on the agenda is request for permission to advertise for bids for spices, seasonings, Class 2 cereal, dry beans, and crackers, Class 3 frozen foods, Class 5 meat and meat products, Class 6 poultry and egg, Class 7 seafood products, Class 8, and canned goods, Class 9. Good evening again, Ms. Bloom.
This is a request to advertise for bids for the period between January 1st, 2019 and June 30th, 2019. It's a regular 6-month bid.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Gaines. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Smith. Any discussion or questions? Ms. Bloom, I just want to also give kudos to you and your staff. As somebody mentioned, another board member, Mr. Warner and Ms. Lemoyne, when you go into the cafeteria, the children know that the cafeteria ladies are their friends. It's just such a wonderful thing, and they all work so hard, and you work so hard, and the breakfast was great, and you just do an awesome job. Thank you for everything extra you do on top of it.
I have a question real quick. Healthy snacks, do they have chocolate?
Oh, I'd have to check on that. But we do have chocolate graham crackers, which are very good.
Okay, good, thank you.
I eat the chocolate graham crackers we have here. They're very good.
Those are smart snacks, too.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? There being none, please cast your votes.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. Item number 11, superintendent's recommendations. Ms. Boche.
Well, on nights that we have board news, super news or whatever, there's very little to add to that. Just again to thank everyone who did participate in the breakfast, and as Ms. England said, I'm not even going to try to start mentioning names because in an event such as that was so well done, there were so many people responsible for all the little details that made it run smoothly. So we thank each and every person who did that. We had a wonderful opening of school. Everything is still going very, very smoothly. It's great to see that the hard work that everyone has put forth is paying off with that. And I think everyone has a very, very good feeling about this particular school year. So it's been a great opening. The events that are coming up, it just seems like it's one right after the other. So especially at the high school, when we talked about Owl Week coming and the kids are so excited with the decorations they're putting up and getting ready for the pep rally, and then the alumni social and the football games and everything that goes along with it. But I think we all know the major focus is the teaching and learning, which teachers are very heavily into right now, and our support people, especially our paraeducators in the classroom, play a tremendous role in that as well. So just a great opening, and we thank everybody for putting forth their best effort for us again this year.
Thank you, Ms. Oche, and
If I could, I'd
go
like
good.
to ask
Go
Ms. Goche, you know, I knew you had many talents, but can you drive a stick shift car? The reason is, after seeing you, I mean, if I need a driver one day, I can
Well, actually, Mr. Egan, I learned to drive on a stick shift, so yes, I can drive a
with a
stick
clutch.
shift car. I can't drive a school bus. Mr. Rowley taught me how to open and close the door, so I'm really, really good at opening and closing the bus door. But driving it, no, I can't handle that one. But I can drive a stick shift, so just let me know.
Okay. Anyone else? Anybody else?
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. The only thing I have to say is, go Owls. And with that, we're going to do item number 12, adjournment. We need a motion. Motion by Mr. Campbell, second by Ms. Dysart. All in favor? This meeting is adjourned. Good night, and see you soon. That's right. That's right.